2,000 items. Yeah, one farmer with like over 2,000.
We are working somebody so we get the right man here. Yes. And nobody can take out this man out of our hand again. Yeah. All the bad mind them have to go keep that to themselves because we get the right man. And we will want him long time and we love him and we are going to work with him. So big up yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man.
So farmer, we are going to go over. But you wouldn't mind if I could have...
Yeah, we're going to have to go over.
Yeah.
Mr. Right here. I feel me daddy land there, man.
How are you, daddy?
Samuel.
Okay, Samuel, look over there.
I feel me daddy land there, and I feel them land there, so they don't know land there, so. I mean, if me land, I go you see the how we lantern, I do a munchie work, some I go you see
yes, a munchie work, some of you.
I go you see that work, the hill right up the hill for me land there.
Okay.
I just do them, and I walk with me.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, man, you know, nice.
One thing still, you know. Where them man them in all this, you know. Young one of them, I am sick.
What all right.
I can bring on
Alright, we now go further on yesterday.
Yeah. Normally I couldn't make it, but
eh?
normally I would be alright. But
the doctor, you know, but even if the doctor in your pocket, you're going to carry
anemic.
Okay.
Look, you can walk come over here now and
You check it out.
Yeah, man, I got
come back and come get some good food.
Oh.
I bring him. You tell him how I
So, Courtney, alright, we're going to stand up in this piece of field.
right.
Yes, okay, and then we can talk to.
Okay.
Don't and breathe, man. Breathe in, hold, and blow up. You can
No.
I don't want to be the news.
I got the one.
You breathe in, you breathe out. Hold.
See me uncle walk over there, the west side. I'm falling fast, you damage man.
And 2 pieces of tea.
Don't be quite a mile and
We're calling it. Colin, oi! You know the come back out.
Shine and glisten on camera.
Done, man.
Bayern, move it.
Where are you? Come and
I go do an interview.
yeah, man, right here.
Yeah, man.
The mic.
Come and say I want to go to the yes.
Yeah, man.
Deep?
No, go down in our
What's up, Patmore? Everything look lush and nice, yes, man. We ever talk about damage? You can something green and pretty and all. I may have missed something. Oh, the money will lead up? Okay. I can come here.
You see us like behind you?
Eh?
All of this now come up for and see.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, man, you can stay here. Right where you are is good. Can get light on your face. Okay.
All right. Yes, I'm Dr. Dayton, Campbell, the opposition spokesperson on agriculture and fisheries. With me is the junior spokesperson and Brian, who is the farm owner for the year that we're in, and of course the representative for the People's National Party for the year, Mr. Paul Patmore. We're here today in Low River to examine the effects of the recent hurricane as to the impact it has had on the yam farmers in this area. And as you can see behind me, that quite a few of the crops that they're laying flat, and they're severely impacted by the recent hurricane, and so some intervention will be needed for these farmers. And it is being managed in a way currently where it appears that even though the southern parishes got the main hit, but it seems that majority of the focus is on that area, and some of the other persons are being left out.
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily say they're being ignored, but there's a delayed response to get to them.
Yes.
But there are persons in these inner parts of the island that were also severely affected and would need some attention. The RADA team, to their credit, they have tried to go out into the communities to assess the impact of what is taking place. And so after doing the inspection, then it's time for some form of program to be put in place now to assist these farmers. As you know, that we already had a concern with yam earlier this year in terms of the yam rust disease that was affecting the negro yam. And with the addition of so many of the crops being affected by the recent hurricane, then it means that we're going to have a severe shortage in short order. And it will also affect our ability to export. So we really want to see some assistance. There are other crops that are also affected, tree crops, bananas, plantains, those sort of things, and also a lot of vegetables as well. And also livestock. Earlier I met a lady that is a poultry farmer that is affected, and the information is that about 30 to 35% of the poultry output in the country is by small farmers, little people that have Delta Coop raising 50 or 100 chickens across the country. And those persons, majority of them would have lost all of their chickens, and also a damage to the infrastructure. And because you don't have electricity back in some of these areas, even if they were to start again, they wouldn't be able to put the produce on ice. They wouldn't be able to store it because there is no electricity. So there is a need for some accelerated attention to persons within this area. Sure, there's going to be a lot of need for fertilizers and other things to get these people back up on their feet. They are industrious people who go out there and ply their trade without seeking any handouts or anything. They are hard-working people, and so we'd want to support them to get them back to normal.
Nationally, do you have any kind of even preliminary assessment of the damage to the sector?
Yeah, my information is that there is roughly 1 billion damage to crops, and there is another 1 billion to livestock and infrastructure. I heard the minister say that it's $1 billion overall, but that's not the information that I have. In terms of infrastructure, a lot of greenhouses have been affected, even bogus and other institutions like that have been affected. And in terms of livestock, and especially fisheries, a significant impact. I mean, you can go all the way from in Rocky Point in Clarendon all the way down to Westmoreland. All of the fisher folks along that southern part of the island have been significantly affected. I met some persons who they've lost 50, 70 pots, and it's about $13,000, $15,000 for one. So you know those persons, and it's at the beginning of the lobster season, those persons will have to start over again. We have agriculture as the main area of employment in the country, with over 230,000 registered farmers. But we do know that you have farmers that are not registered as well, so it's actually a higher number. And I was having the conversation earlier that there are some persons who may not be registered, but we can verify that they are farmers, and we'd still want to see some assistance going to those persons. Because when you ask for the registration, it's to verify that the person is a farmer. If they don't have the ID, but you can actually go and see their farm and can verify that this person is indeed a farmer, I think some assistance should still be given to them. So, you know, if agriculture is not dealt with urgently, we're going to have a problem. On the news last night, I think it was your media house, carried the news last night where the farmers and some of the vendors in Kingston were saying that they're going to have increase in carrots and cabbage and all of those things. As early as next week, you're going to start seeing a movement in those prices, and that it will take up until about 6 months for things to return to normal. And food plays a large role in the inflation basket, especially of low-income people. Most of what they do with the money that they have is to buy food. And so once the price moves with that, then you're going to have an increase in inflation, which is then going to affect the entire population. So I really want to see some immediate intervention in the agricultural sector to try and get it back to normal in as short a time as possible.
You stress the need for urgency here. How important is this part of the country to the overall agricultural production, especially of yams?
I mean, it's critical. It's critical. You know, people normally refer to Trelawny as yam country. I mean, so it's very important. I think you have about 30,000 hectares of yam under production in the country. So it's a major industry, earning I think $50 million US last year. And we're not talking about the domestic earnings. That's just from export and those other things. So, you know, people would have contracts that they have to supply yams to Canada, to the US and elsewhere. And what you don't want to do is for them not to be able to deliver on those contracts. So we want to see some assistance in as short a time as possible to get these people back to working. As you can see, the farmer is here in his farm, you understand? They want to be able to do their thing and take care of their farms and take care of their families. And I think the role of government is to ensure that we create that environment that people can apply themselves and make a life for themselves.
So Patmore, general comments or
I'm really happy to have spokesperson of agriculture here with me today, because the farmers in the area, they were really complaining that no attention have been placed on South Trelawny. And behind me right here is a farmer that lost, but just this one field, he lost over 2,000 hills of yam, you know, and that will really impact his livelihood going forward. Presently in the area, we notice a little bit of, I would say, handout from the farmer. I see the former member of parliament. She was one of the persons spearheading the handing out. So really kind of make it uncomfortable for persons who does not support their party to feel comfortable to go and ask for assistance. So that's one of the things that I would want to see. I would want to see is that the Prime Minister kind of take control in South Trelawny. Is without a member of parliament now, but presently we have 4 councillors. They are all JLP councillors, but I would prefer and be more comfortable if we see the councillors would be the one who will be the spearheading and steering the distribution of the benefits. Because and even through RADA, and we also have a Custos who do well in representing the Governor General. I would rather to see him spearheading the distribution of the benefits in South Trelawny, other than for the member of parliament, somebody who gave up her position to be the same person who is now spearheading the distribution of it. That's why we're saying, what role does she play? Is she still the caretaker, or she is the acting member of parliament? That is my question.
to be clear, is it that you want to ensure equity in the distribution of whatever?
Yes, most definitely. We want to have equity in the distribution. And somebody who, because the hurricane does not have any color, and persons from both sides of the fence got damaged. But I can tell you, from experience, the people of South Trelawny that did not support Miss Marissa Dalrymple in the last election, they will not feel comfortable to approach her or approach her team. That's the type of politics that is practiced in South Trelawny for many years.
My name is Ryan Lindsay.
Yes.
So so far you see I lose 3,000 for feel like here, man, stuff like that. So I just leave it.
I'm gonna give the
ballpark so that you can just give us an idea how much you can.
Like how many you know that get out of it
Yeah,
and stuff like
and
that?
considering your input
Like
and all
about
that, how much?
13,000.
No, man. Per one. How much is a
Me
pound?
No, me can reap
Just
13,000 out of this year.
Yeah, man. How much is a pound? Yeah.
When you rape, me not directly can tell you how much a pound. Just when you rape, me can tell you. Like up and down, up and down.
$200.
$30 a pound.
200.
Yeah, $200.
$200 a pound.
So,
So 13,000.
Mm.
So 290,000.
So average per hill we would be looking at about say,
3.9 million.
15 pounds,
Yeah.
2 heads in a hill,
Yeah.
15 pounds per hill, and $200 per
And then
pound.
just stop there. Now go no further.
15 pounds per hill.
Yeah,
and
so
he has-
15
and he
pounds
lost-
times
and he lost
2,000.
2,000 hills.
Yes, and that would be times the
So that's 30,000 pounds.
Alright, having said
Sorry,
that,
I'm
any
so sorry.
initial thoughts on how you're going to move forward?
Just fight on.
$9
You have to just
million.
fight on.
That's $9 million.
As a Mr. P said, we don't look out the hands out like that. What we can do, if you don't make it, we just
So I think that should be said. Right, so
Stand by when I say Q, you go. Alright, Q.
right, so this is Brian's farm, and on his farm he has lost 2,000 hills of yam. And I'm reliably informed that you get about 15 pounds per hill. So that would be 30,000 pounds. And if you are working it at $300 per pound, his loss here is $9 million, estimated at $9 million. That's significant for a single farmer to lose that. And in following on the point that was made earlier, I'm a little bit uncomfortable as well with how things are being distributed. And here's why. Even as a practicing politician myself, it is extremely difficult for you as a political representative to tell your supporters no, because you run the risk of losing support. And that's why it's not good for the benefits to be distributed by elected officials. Whether it's PNP or JNP, doesn't matter. It's not a good thing for it to happen that way, because I am a PNP representative, and if I have something to distribute and my supporter is not the worst impacted, and they come to me, if I don't give them, I'm going to lose that support, so I'm going to be forced to give them for my own survival. So what you want to do is to take away the benefits from the elected officials and put it in the hands of the government agencies, right? So if you have a benefit that is coming to the farmers, RADA would know the list of registered farmers. You have JS and you have different associations for different farming groups, and that is how you should get the benefit out to them, so that they can see the impact that has taken place and they can allocate the benefit based on who is impacted the worst, getting the most, and then you bring it down like that. If you bring it into the hands of elected officials, all that is going to happen is that people are just going to come and collect the things based on the fact that they support that party. I'm also very uncomfortable that the former member of parliament is distributing resources, because even if you were to do the unadvisable thing of using elected officials, she's not elected. So in what capacity would she be distributing resources? It is not right, and it's maladministration of governance in the country, and it is something that needs to be addressed. So I'm making an appeal that the assistance to farmers go through RAD and to JS and the different farming associations, so that registered farmers and people, even if they're not registered, but they can be verified as bona fide farmers, will be the one to get the benefit. And I'm making a special appeal that for Brian Farm here, I can't imagine a small farmer losing $9 million in one go, and then some of the other yams probably going to be affected by yam rust and those other things. So there is a possibility of even greater loss. So something needs to be done urgently.
Do an interview.
They can say they are connecting it.
It's very badly affected. Personally, me, I have 624 lions that flap. And with every 200 hill, for the past 3 years, every 200 hill give me 1,000. So it's 1,624 flat. You know, I lost 8,000 pounds of yam. And you have more farmers down by my side that landslide, and you have more. You have farmers even lost one of them crop. Because right now, I have 820 that I can't take up. You have similar to this.
That's devastating. How are you going to move forward?
Well, I have to bounce back. I'm not going to wait and undo, because what I see going on in South Trelawny now, if you have one set of color, and that set of color over there side, one set of color is going to get it. I'm not going to wait on them. I'm not going to wait on them. I'm going to bounce myself back and move on. Understand? Everything dead, man. Because he's only a farmer like a me with a hand. Dead man. I'm a farmer like a with a hand. So that's how you see me at this. I'm walking at this, you know. Security. Five. Yeah, they're on the action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, boss, yes.
Let me see.
Last sip. Last sip, yes, sir.
No, sir. Brian, is he? Look at it. I can't what I believe. Man, the boy had dash lick and 9 mule to a crowd, is he? I didn't know so I'm abusing the animal. Let me go to jail.
Also, a lot of
care blow them. So the back of it.
You need to go.
Alright. Take care.
And she can stand up.
Look here.
You see right below the brown
Where grass is
brown
sprayed.
guy.
You're not see from your vantage point.
You have to go for Neil.
Go a little higher.